God-destroying warrior. Introduction. In that year of drought, I used the blood of the human emperor to summon the rain god to bring forth rain. However, halfway through his ritual, a celestial maiden descended from the heavens, her face filled with anger. She said, "Tung Cao, you never loved me. I've been furious, yet you didn't come to comfort me, only cared about making rain. From now on, stay with these people, and don't come looking for me again." With that, she stormed off in fury. The rain god, consumed by love, abandoned the people and left without a second thought. So I ordered the destruction of all temples on earth, snuffing out every burning incense and prayer. In just one night, we no longer believed in the gods, nor did we worship them. As faith gradually faded, divine power began to crumble. In the end, the gods themselves began to fear. For 2 years, the human world had suffered from drought. Fields lay barren, and the common people starved in misery. Desperate, I built an altar and used the blood of the human emperor to summon the rain god, pleading for rain to save the people. As my blood filled the sacred markings and diagrams on the altar, suddenly, a thunderous roar echoed from the sky. A brilliant golden light shone down upon the crowd, so blinding that no one dared look directly. Then a mysterious voice, both near and far, resounded, "Who dares to summon this rain god?" Upon hearing this, I joyfully raised my head and saw an elegant divine man, holding a godly weapon, standing atop a cloud. Leading the people, I knelt and greeted him, "Welcome, rain god. I am the emperor of the eastern great human realm, humbly pleading for rain to save our people." The rain god spoke not a word but simply waved his sleeve. Thunder rumbled across the heavens, and in an instant torrential rain poured down, drenching the parched earth below. The countless people gathered began to rejoice wildly. "It's raining. Finally, it's raining." Just as I was about to bow and offer thanks to the rain god, another beam of light descended from the sky, and a celestial maiden suddenly appeared. Her face was furious as she spoke, "Tung Cao, you never loved me. I've been angry, and yet you didn't come to comfort me. All you care about is making rain. From now on, stay with these people forever, and don't come looking for me again." With that, she stormed off in a rage. Tung Cao hurriedly stopped his ritual and grabbed the celestial maiden. "Khoton, listen to me. There's nothing between me and Tong Dung Immortal. You've misunderstood us." "Humph. Now it's too late for explanations. From this day forth, we are done." With a flick of her hand, the celestial maiden shook him off, riding the clouds away without looking back. Tung Cao panicked and tried to chase after her, but I held him back with the sacred words. "Rain god, you haven't finished bringing the rain." But Tung Cao simply shattered my sacred words with a wave of his hand and arrogantly declared, "How could mere mortals compare to the one my heart desires? Once I've won back Khoton's forgiveness, I'll come back and deal with your worldly matters." And with that, the rain god, whom we had so faithfully worshipped, abandoned us, left us to our suffering. When the people finally recovered from their shock, they cried out in despair, their grief bordering on madness. They wept not just for themselves but for the loved ones who had died because of the drought. They also wept for the gods they had worshipped day and night, only to be forsaken in the end. Seeing my people so heartbroken filled me with rage. These gods of the divine realm basked in the incense and offerings of the human world. They relied on the faith of the human realm to grow their divine power, allowing them to ride the clouds and walk the path of immortality. But after becoming powerful, they discarded us, these insignificant humans, and provided no protection. If that's the case, we no longer need gods. Upon returning to the palace, I issued an imperial decree to destroy all temples in the human realm, extinguish all incense and offerings, and forcefully prohibit the people from believing in or worshipping gods. Anyone who violated this order would have their entire family executed. The people, already deeply wounded by the gods, needed no threat of punishment. Consumed by their own anger, they smashed every statue of the gods and swore never to believe in them again. Since ancient times, the gods have relied on the faith of the human world to sustain their immortality and enhance their cultivation. When that faith is broken, so too is their divine power. When none of the gods received any more merit from the human realm, I wondered how long they would be able to sit above us, looking down with their arrogance. On the first day that humanity stopped believing in the gods, the deities didn't even notice. In the first month without faith, the gods felt only a slight irritation, a me. But in the first year, as faith drained away rapidly, a crack appeared in their once mighty divine power, and it began to crumble like a mountain of. At last, The gods of heaven could no longer sit idly by. They sent emissaries to the human realm to negotiate with me. They even brought the rain god, bound in chains, to plead for forgiveness. They promised that from now on, the gods would fulfill their duties, protecting humanity without ever abandoning their posts. But I sneered at their feeble attempt at sincerity. The emissary spoke. Since the time when Pangu created heaven and earth, the gods and humans have shared a close bond. Now, because of one god's mistake, Your Majesty has ordered the destruction of all temples and forced the people to cease their worship of the gods. Isn't this response a bit excessive? Your Majesty should remember that if the gods were to perish, humanity would be left vulnerable to the demons waiting to prey upon them. That is none of your concern, I replied coldly. The emissary continued, Why is Your Majesty so stubborn? Must you oppose the gods over such a small matter? A small matter? Hearing this, my rage erupted fully. My eyes, red with fury, bore into the emissary as I spoke each word with biting precision. In the 3rd year of Lin Ping, a sudden earthquake struck the western lands under the protection of the Earth Immortal, leaving countless dead and wounded. In the 9th year of Lin Ping, a devastating blizzard ravaged Dingda for 4 months, plunging the people into unspeakable suffering. My grandfather offered his life to the heavens, praying for the Snow Maiden's intervention to save the people of Dingda, but no god responded. In the 3rd year of Qing'an, the Demon King ravaged the human realm, slaughtering the innocent. My father himself climbed the 9,000 steps of the Immortal Mountain to beg the god of war to defeat the demonic forces, but no one answered. In the end, my father threw himself into the flames to forge a divine weapon, which was used to slay the demons. These were life and death matters for us mortals, but to you they are small matters? I spoke each word slowly, and the emissary's face turned crimson with shame. Tung Cao, however, was not so easily cowed. You only see the disasters of the human world, but do you understand what the gods were going through at the time? In the 3rd year of Lin Ping, the Earth Immortal gave up his own immortality to save his beloved, and thus was powerless to stop the earthquake. In the 9th year of Lin Ping, the Snow Maiden was heartbroken after severing ties with her lover and threw herself into the 9 abyss to heal her wounds. She was unaware of the blizzard. And in the 3rd year of Qing'an, the Demon King attacked because the god of war had sealed away his beloved daughter, Ademonis, to save the world. The god of war was so devastated by sealing away the one he loved that he retreated into seclusion, unable to confront the demonic invasion. This time, I too was delayed in bringing rain because I was busy comforting the one I love. Yes, mortals lost their lives, but we gods also lose love. Why can't you sympathize with us? Are we not deserving of love too? What? Hearing Tung Cao's twisted reasoning, I couldn't help but laugh in disbelief. I had considered many reasons why the gods might abandon their posts, but I never imagined such a ridiculous excuse. We humans worship the gods, offering our faith willingly in the hope that the gods would protect us and ensure our peace. But these despicable gods, after enjoying the incense and offerings of the human world, neglected their duties, allowing disaster to ravage the land. Yet here they are, spouting such absurdities. Truly, they are without honor or shame. In my anger, I turned to the emissary and said, We offered our faith to the gods for protection, but if you cannot even fulfill the duties of your station, then let the bond between the gods and humans be severed. I am curious to see how you gods will continue your love stories without the faith of the human world to sustain you. At this, the negotiations between the two realms collapsed. And so, the war between the humans and the gods officially began. The first day after the declaration of war, the gods began their punitive actions against humanity. The northwest fell into a severe drought, the south was overwhelmed by relentless torrential rains, coastal regions flooded, and plague spread far and wide. In an instant, the human world was thrown into chaos. Witnessing all this devastation, my heart burned with fury. But could we compromise, surrender, and submit to the gods once more? Absolutely not. If we yielded and once again worshipped the gods, humanity would forever live under their shadow, only to be discarded by those haughty deities whenever they wished. When the next disaster strikes, gods like Snow Maiden, the war god, or rain god could again abandon humanity at will. So, at this very moment, I vow to lead all. After we endured the first wave of attacks from the gods, the people, though oppressed and mocked, felt a surge of excitement within us, and the morale of humanity grew even stronger. Seeing this, the divine clans certainly would not stand by and watch. After all, their divine power was dwindling, and they could not persist for long. Therefore they shamelessly took the excuse that we, the human race, had broken the covenant between humans and gods to lead the heavenly soldiers to attack the human realm, intending to unleash their wrath upon the innocent people of the human world. The first place they wanted to attack in the human realm was the royal palace. The war god, fully armored, stood before me and ordered someone to escort me up to the palace tower. In front of the entire populace, he disdainfully said, "You are nothing but a small, insignificant human, merely an ant that dares to challenge the divine clan. You truly do not know your own limits. I advise you to rebuild the temples and worship the divine clan once again, then perhaps the divine clan will spare the lives of your insignificant human race. If not, I will use your emperor as a sacrifice to the heavens and see who still dares to oppose us." After saying this, the war god immediately reached out and squeezed my neck, forcing my people to compromise. The people below the city wall angrily shouted, "Release our emperor. Those detestable divine beings. If it weren't for us, your divine clan wouldn't have any power at all. How dare you harm our emperor? I'll fight to the death against them. Yes, let's fight to the death against them." The populace was furious, excitedly rallying to resist. But how could mere humans, who couldn't even tie up a chicken, stand against the well-trained celestial troops? As the people were about to be killed by the divine soldiers, suddenly, a loud sound echoed from the east. Seeing that pure golden light shining brilliantly, my heart finally calmed down. A new god has just appeared, peace in the world is about to return. The dazzling golden light was so bright that one could not look directly at it. This light rendered all the pressure of the celestial troops ineffective, even the war god standing before me could not use his magic. The war god panicked, saying, What? What is happening? Celestial troops, hurry. Quickly capture these commoners and the human emperor, and execute them on the spot." Upon receiving the command, the celestial soldiers immediately raised their weapons, preparing to strike us down. In this moment of life and death, the golden light surged forth and then condensed into a massive axe that swept through the celestial soldiers, decapitating them. Then a clear yet cold female voice rang out, "Anyone who dares to harm the human realm will be opposing me." The war god was both frightened and angry. Who exactly are you?" The massive golden axe quickly retracted and transformed into a graceful woman clad in golden armor. Her expression was resolute as she declared, "I am the war god, Xiu Si Fong." Upon hearing this, Tung Cao's eyes widened in fear, unable to believe it. Impossible. This can't be. The divine clan only has one war god, Tok Mong. How can you be a war god? Tung Cao was so astonished because each divine position in the divine clan was unique, formed by the faith of mortals. Humans pray for love and thus give rise to the love deity Noyet Lao. Humans pray for peace and therefore produce the war god Tok Mong. Similarly, if humans pray for rain, the rain deity Tung Cao is born. Each deity is formed and given their duties before their birth. Each of them holds a position to protect the human realm's peace and harmony. Previously, the Queen Mother of the West, who presided over the divine realm, had issued a decree in the heavenly rules prohibiting deities from falling in love, fearing that such entanglements would harm the human realm. Unfortunately, this diligent Queen Mother was eventually overthrown by several deities who fell into love. Since then, the heavenly court lost its regulations, the divine realm fell into chaos, and the deities prioritized personal desires, disregarding the human realm and neglecting their responsibilities, leading to the current severance between humans and gods. At this moment, the war god gazed in astonishment at Xiu Si Fong, bewildered by what had transpired. I stepped forward slowly, grasping his neck like he had done to me earlier, and kindly explained to him. Xiu Si Fong was originally a great general of our human race, skilled in combat and possessing great ambitions for the world. After discovering the despicable nature of the divine clan, she willingly offered her body, burning herself to ashes. I used her ashes to mold a divine statue, commanding the people of the nation to worship and offer incense, utilizing their faith to assist her in becoming a deity. Now she is the new war god of this realm. Upon hearing this, Tung Cao's eyes seemed about to burst. What? You dare to create a deity yourself? I have already done it. What can you do about it? You enjoy the incense of the mortals but have not fulfilled your duties. It is no longer necessary for you to exist. Since the day I tore up the treaty in front of the envoy, I created a new deity for the human realm to replace you. But creating a deity is an act against heavenly principles. Are you not afraid of heavenly punishment? Heavenly punishment? Oh. I sneered coldly. Those deities who are unworthy of their positions, how can there still be heavenly principles in this world? If there truly were heavenly principles, those of you who sit comfortably and enjoy the fruits of the earth should have long since been struck by lightning and turned to ash. After saying this, I shouted to the heavens, "Where is the war god?" Immediately, a deity radiating blue light suddenly appeared before me. "War god Thuong Tan, awaiting your majesty's orders." I said, "The human realm has been without rain for a long time, and today we face a great battle between humans and gods. You must bring rain for the human realm, to boost their morale." Thuong Tan obeys. Before long the wind rose, dark clouds gathered, thunder rumbled, and heavy raindrops fell from the sky onto the dry faces of the people and the parched earth. From this day forth, the new deity descends, bringing new life to the human realm. As for the old gods, let them be completely eradicated. Seeing his position completely replaced, Tung Kao, filled with rage, spat out a mouthful of blood and then fainted. I sneered. The mighty war god could not even withstand this. If he had fiercely resisted and fought us to the end, I would have admired him for having a bit of divine essence. But I never expected him to be so useless. However, Tung Kao was just a minor deity, not worth mentioning. The most deserving of death among the gods was perhaps the one who enjoyed the most incense from a human realm but isolated himself for love, causing our people to suffer hardship, nearly leading to the extinction of the human race, the war god Tok Mong. Years ago, when the demon clan invaded, countless civilians were injured and killed, leaving our people surrounded by corpses. In a desperate situation, my father passed the throne to me and went alone to the fairy mountain to plead with the war god Tok Mong to descend and exterminate the demons. However, after my father struggled to climb 9,000 steps, he was met with the war god's ire. He helplessly sealed away the one he loved and refused to meet my father, dismissing him with a wave of his hand, causing my father to fall down the steps and suffer a broken leg. Afterward, my father returned to the royal city. To protect the human race, he had no choice but to sacrifice himself, using his body, infused with the righteous essence of the emperor, to forge the demon-slaying sword, which was the only way to kill the demon king and save our people. But from then on, the vitality of the human realm was severely damaged, and everywhere lay in ruin. When I ascended the throne, I was only 9 years old. I witnessed the demon king slaughtering the human realm and saw my father sacrifice himself with the sword. Even though I was still young, I experienced feelings of anger, fear, humiliation, and unwillingness, but I had no choice but to endure. In fact, for the peace of the human realm, I personally went to the fairy mountain to apologize to the war god, pleading with him not to hold the recklessness of my father against the human race. I will always remember how I climbed the steps, only to be mocked by the war god. From that day forth, I swore that those deities who enjoyed the incense of the human race yet looked down upon them would pay a heavy price. With the help of the new gods, although we did not achieve an overwhelming victory in the battle against the gods, we also never found ourselves in a weak position. In the first human-god war, we fought evenly, so both sides temporarily agreed to a ceasefire, with each side returning to their territories to await future developments. But deep down, we all knew that while we were currently evenly matched, it did not mean we could remain so in the future. The old gods had lost their followers and could no longer harvest the wishes and beliefs from the human realm to nourish their divine bodies. In contrast, the new gods I created were daily venerated and offered incense by the people, their divine power growing stronger by the day. Moreover, the current human god war was a conflict that had captured the people's hearts, so the speed at which the faith was generated among the populace was even faster than I had imagined. Over time, the old gods would gradually weaken, and their divine powers would slowly collapse. In contrast to their decline, the new gods would grow stronger. After a long wait, we would surely achieve victory and eliminate the old gods. Thus, the celestial court immediately dispatched a heavenly envoy to descend to the mortal realm and once again request a negotiation with me. But we all knew clearly in our hearts that while we were evenly matched now, it didn't mean we would always be able to maintain that balance in the future. The old gods no longer had any worshippers to sustain them, unable to harvest the wishes and beliefs from the mortal realm to nourish their divine forms. In contrast, the new gods I created were being honored daily by the people, and their divine power was increasing day by day. Moreover, the current great war between humans and gods was a conflict that had the people's support, so the rate at which belief was generated in the hearts of the populace was even faster than I had imagined. Over time, the old gods would gradually weaken, and their divine power would eventually collapse. Conversely, the decline of the old gods meant the rise of the new ones. Given enough time, we would undoubtedly achieve victory and wipe out those old gods. Thus, The heavenly court immediately sent a celestial envoy down to plead for peace talks with me once again. This time, they truly came with more sincerity than before. Because this time, they not only brought the god Tongue Cow, but also captured the Earth Immortal, Snow Maiden, and other deities who had previously left their posts to seek forgiveness for me. This time, the attitude of the celestial envoy was also much better. Your Majesty the Queen, I apologize on behalf of the god race and present those deities who have failed to fulfill their duties for you to handle, as a gesture of compensation to the mortal realm. From now on, every deity in the god race will take an oath on their divine roots, vowing that if they leave their posts again, their divine roots will be instantly destroyed, and they will be annihilated by the heavenly Tao. I kindly request that your Majesty consider the bond between our two races and order a ceasefire. I smiled faintly at him. Is the celestial envoy sure that all the deities who left their positions are here? The envoy's expression stiffened, and his smile suddenly became forced. Of course, they are all here. If that's the case, then there's no need for further discussion. See you, Sifong, see our guest out? Yes, your Majesty. Seeing that he was about to be expelled from the royal hall, the celestial envoy quickly shouted, Your Majesty, please wait. What is it? Does the celestial envoy have something else to say? The envoy clenched his teeth and said, Your Majesty, but what about the war god Tok Mong? I sneered at him. Just now, the celestial envoy said he had brought all the gods here. Why do you suddenly remember the war god Tok Mong now? In fact, I knew why the god race, despite their willingness to take risks, was unwilling to hand over war god Tok Mong. Only because the war god is the most powerful being in the realm of gods. Without this card, if after the truce the human race changes its mind, I could once again lead the new gods to attack the heavenly court, and I fear the heavenly court would be unable to fight back. Currently, they are keeping the war god, and even though their divine power is gradually declining, Tok Mong's divine power will not disappear completely overnight. After all, his divine power is vast and immeasurable, and he is not someone the new gods can easily surpass. However, if I dared to make this request, I naturally had no worries. So, I snapped my fingers, and immediately someone brought out a large piece of spirit stone. On its surface, spiritual energy moved, and inside the spirit stone, it seemed like there were meridians, causing the spiritual energy within to constantly vibrate. The celestial envoy was confused. What is this object? This is the spirit gathering stone. Years ago, Xiu Sifong used a divine weapon to slay the demon emperor, then skinned him and made this stone from his body. This stone has the effect of rapidly absorbing spiritual energy. A deity that possesses this item can quickly mobilize the surrounding spiritual energy and absorb it, converting it into divine power. The new gods I created were able to manifest so quickly thanks to this. I glanced meaningfully at the celestial envoy. If it weren't for this stone, with Tok Mong stationed there, we certainly wouldn't be able to attack the heavenly court, and the god race would have a chance to catch their breath. But now we have this spirit gathering stone, and the cultivation of the new gods will be reinforced from both the spiritual energy and the power of belief, causing their divine power to increase rapidly. I believe that in less than a year, we will be able to conquer the heavenly court and wipe out all the deities. My confident demeanor caused the celestial envoy's face to turn pale. After a long time, he finally calmed down. But I fear that your Majesty's actions will also consume a great deal of resources, causing the people to be unrest. That's why I agreed to let the celestial envoy come to seek an audience, intending to negotiate peace with you. Who would have thought your god race lacked such sincerity? The celestial envoy sighed and finally compromised. So, if we agree to hand over the war god, what will your Majesty do? Well said. I cheerfully negotiated. As long as you agree to hand over Tok Mong, I will take an oath with my blood that from now on, our two races will not infringe upon each other. If I break this oath, I am willing to suffer the punishment of the heavenly Tao, dissipating into thin air. After all, if we continue the Great War, it would certainly be as he said, both costly and causing my people to live uneasily. Over the past few years, the mortal realm has faced continuous disasters. I cannot be certain that no unforeseen events will occur. This is also the reason I am willing to reconcile with the god race. However, our reconciliation will be equal, so the god race will not be above the human race in any way. And we will have the new gods to protect us, ensuring peace in the world. After all, without Tok Mong, the god race is just a toothless old tiger, not something to be feared, not worth fighting to the death against. Finally, the celestial envoy agreed that 3 days later, he would bring Tok Mong to the mortal realm for the official reconciliation with the human race. 3 days later, the celestial envoy brought Tok Mong, who was bound by divine restraints, to the royal palace. Then, we drank blood and swore an oath, signing a peace treaty. From now on, the human race and the god race shall not infringe upon each other. Anyone who violates this oath will be erased by the heavenly Tao. After the celestial envoy left, I raised my divine weapon, intending to stab Tok Mong and comfort the souls of my father and the people in heaven. But unexpectedly, as I swung my sword towards his head, a powerful pressure blocked my blade, preventing it from reaching Tok Mong. I was unable to kill him. How could this be? Clearly, he was bound and unable to use his divine power, so how could he emit such a strong pressure? Moreover, this pressure did not seem to be emanating from him. The kind of pressure that instilled fear and made one unable to resist seemed like the heavenly Tao. Yes, this was the punitive law of the heavenly Tao for anyone who violated its regulations. Whether it be gods, demons, or humans, everyone must abide by the laws set by the heavenly Tao. If anyone defies the will of heaven, they will be punished by the heavenly Tao. Previously, when I led the people to create gods, I also encountered pressure from the heavenly Tao. But that pressure was nowhere near as strong as it was today, which allowed me to miraculously avoid disaster and successfully create gods. But why was the heavenly Tao now favoring and protecting a lazy god like Tok Mong? I couldn't believe it. I raised my sword once more to strike at Tok Mong's head but still couldn't touch him. Looking back at Tok Mong's reaction, he also wore a perplexed expression. It seemed even he did not understand why the heavenly Tao was protecting him. I lowered my sword in frustration, gazing at Tok Mong, a sudden surge of intense anger rising within me. Why? Why does the heavenly Tao toy with people like this? Why, when the mortal realm faced earthquakes, snowstorms, and droughts, and was slaughtered by the demon emperor, did the heavenly Tao never descend to protect us, the human race? Today, I simply wanted to deal with a god who did not fulfill his responsibilities, and it immediately intervened to protect Tok Mong. This was truly the heavenly Tao's injustice. I had thought that the heavenly Tao allowing me to create gods also meant I could overthrow these useless deities. But why today did the heavenly Tao want to protect Tok Mong? My emotions were agitated, and I found it hard to remain calm. In front of so many people, I once again raised my sword to strike at Tok Mong. If 1 strike did not kill him, then 2 strikes, if 2 did not kill him, then 3. I did not believe I could not kill this damn Tok Mong. I shouted, "Where are the gods?" At my call, the new gods flew to the palace in turn and replied, "We are here." I asked the gods to grant me divine power so we can behead Tok Mong. As soon as I finished speaking, the gods immediately cast spells, merging their divine veins with mine, and a pure divine power flooded my body in an instant. I used my body to contain the divine power and once again swung the colossal sword toward Tok Mong, filled with the determination to kill him with a single blow, swearing that I would behead Tok Mong even if it cost me my life. This time, although I still did not kill Tok Mong, the situation changed. After I swung the colossal sword down, I was suddenly transported by the heavenly Tao into an endless space. Then, a person claiming to be the novel system found me. The being claiming to be the novel system spoke to me without revealing itself. It said that our world actually exists within a novel. In this novel, the war god Tok Mong is the so-called male protagonist, while the demoness Lan Dao, who was sealed by Tok Mong, is the female protagonist. They are the center of this world, and all other characters must yield to their love story. That is also the reason why I cannot kill Tok Mong. In the novel, he is a revered and respected war god in both the human and god realms, while Lan Dao, the witty princess of the demon realm, has to become a couple with him due to their opposing identities. Gods and demons cannot share the same path, leading them to love and kill each other. The story begins when Princess Lan Dao descends to the human realm for the first time. Innocent and kind-hearted, she is plotted against by an evil man who covets her beauty. Just when she is about to lose her purity, the war god Tok Mong descends to complete a mission and saves her in time. Attracted by Tok Mong's handsome demeanor, Lan Dao falls in love at first sight and follows him under the pretense of repaying her debt of gratitude. Whenever he tries to escape, she chases after him. Whenever he retreats, she advances. Thus, under Lan Dao's persistent pursuit, the cold-faced war god Tok Mong is finally stirred. However, just as they begin to fall in love, chaos erupts in the demon realm. As a princess of the demon race, Lan Dao naturally cannot ignore her responsibilities and must return to stabilize her homeland. Once the demon realm is settled, Lan Dao unexpectedly discovers the female supporting character, the goddess Ong Hoa, entangled with Tok Mong. It turns out that Tok Mong and Ong Hoa once had a romantic relationship, but in the end, Ong Hoa betrayed him. The twist is that Lan Dao bears some resemblance to Ong Hoa, which is why Tok Mong allows her to stay by his side. The three of them then experience numerous trials of love and hate, with Lan Dao being tortured both physically and emotionally, leading to a surge in her demonic nature, harming the lives of the people in a city in the human realm. As a war god nurtured by the incense of the mortal realm, Tok Mong should have immediately slain the demoness to comfort the souls of the people. But out of love, he shows favoritism and only seals the demoness off lightly. After sealing the demoness, he becomes despondent and retreats into seclusion. Even when my father invites him to leave his mountain, he vents his anger on my father. At the end of the story, Tok Mong, day and night, longs for the demoness, causing his divine power to collapse. The other gods, fearing the war god would fall like this, strip Lan Dao of her demonic essence as punishment, turning her into a mortal. Then Tok Mong pours his divine power into Lan Dao's bones, helping her cultivate into an immortal. Ultimately, she ascends to become a deity, and the two enjoy eternal life together, blissfully united. After reading this story, I felt so nauseated that I nearly spat. I don't understand. I truly don't understand how the world of mountains and rivers I grew up in could be so casually turned into a novel. Clearly my father, my mother, the court officials, my friends, and even the palace maids beside me are so vibrant, filled with emotions and flesh and blood. I cannot fathom how they could be reduced to cold words on a page. But even if this world is just a novel, how can a morally corrupt war god, who acts with bias against the rules and disregards the suffering of the people, fall in love with the demoness Lan Dao, who could slaughter the populace of an entire city for love, become the protagonist? Now, because they are the protagonists, even though I want revenge, I cannot kill Tok Mong. I was so angry that my whole body trembled, yet I could do nothing against this so-called novel system. But I know I cannot kill Tok Mong. At least not for now. Because he is the embodiment of the heavenly Tao. As long as he lives, the heavenly Tao remains. If he perishes, the heavenly Tao will undoubtedly vanish. But if you want me to simply give up, that's absolutely impossible. I don't care if this world is real or fake. All I know is, those who owe must pay their debts.